Once upon a time, there was a world full of laughter. Then a virus hit, and the whole thing was a disaster. But we got a show to let you know it's alright. It's alright. Even though it's only once a week, we guarantee you a front row seat at the Comedy Cellar Nightly Show once a week.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Comedy Cellar Nightly. Oh, sweet magic. I love when the kitty is in the picture. I'm sorry. It threw me off. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. My name is Dave Juskow, and here we are Tuesdays at 7 Eastern Standard Time to enjoy an evening of laughs and entertainment together since all of the clubs are closed, at least here in New York City. Thank you so much for joining us today. As always, if you're in the chat room, chat us up. Our producer, Mike, can let us know what you're up to. And please feel free to always press the donate button, my favorite part of the button chat room scenario. All right. Well, anyway, like I said, thank you very much for coming to the show. Let's begin with the prepared material tonight, the opening monologue. Here we go. Well, I'll tell you that insurrection, the zip tie guy was turned into the FBI by his ex-wife. This just proves the old saying that if you're going to mount an insurrection, zip tie your ex-wife first. How are you? Woohoo! Thank you. Donald Trump was banned from Facebook, not because of the riots, just because the minimum age to use Facebook is 80. Congress is drafting articles of impeachment, but if they want Trump to read them, they should draft bullet points of impeachment. Thank you. And this final one, the rioters were screaming, "Hang Mike Pence." And there hasn't been a rabid group of people who wanted a vice president killed since Broadway's last Hamilton performance. How are you? All right. Let's introduce our guests this evening for this quality show. He is the host of Fitzdog Radio Podcast and co-host of the podcast entitled Sunday Papers with Mike Gibbons, which you can be found on his YouTube channel easily or at the gregfitzsimmons.com. He can actually be seen live this weekend, I believe, at the Tempe Improv in Tempe, Arizona. Is that true?
It sounds improbable, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. That's why I wasn't positive if that was a real thing.
You may not be, but by the end of the weekend, I will be positive.
And also, she is Greg Fitzsimmons, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry. And she is the co-host of the podcast entitled Two Non-Doctors with Maria Shihada. I think I pronounced that correctly. On March 16th. Her new book entitled Why Cats Are Assholes will be coming out on Amazon and Barnes & Noble and wherever else you purchase books these days. Please welcome Liz Miele again to our wonderful show.
Hey.
Liz, you had a gig coming up in February in Minneapolis. Is that happening?
Everything. My agents booked a bunch of stuff and I was like, okay. And then as each one came up, either they canceled or I canceled. And my favorite was I was just like, I looked up like all the cases and it looks really bad. Is it okay if I cancel? He's like, I would cancel. I was like, why am I calling you then? Like,
Right.
Don't you care about me?
Well, that's good, Matt, because then we also have Colin Smith, our resident musician, who is going to perform for us later this evening, who is, just feeling a lot better this week. He wasn't feeling too good last week. Isn't that right, Colin?
That's right.
Yes. Well, yes. So nobody can perform. No musicians, no comics. Greg, I still can't believe you are performing this weekend. But Arizona is like Florida. They just don't give a shit. And as long as you don't care, I guess.
No, it's bad. And, I also booked a bunch of dates like Liz, and then I canceled all of February and March. But these ones kind of, honestly, I forgot I had them. And then my agent was like, here's the advance sheet for everything. And I'm like, what? Phoenix? But now it's kind of too late to get out of it. So if you're listening, I wouldn't come to this show. This is crazy.
Is it indoors?
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
I mean, it is. The upside is it's a room that has a balcony. So, like, there's a lot more air to flow. But like you said, it's Phoenix. So they're patriots. And if you're a patriot.
Are they social distancing?
No.
No. Okay.
Is that true? They're not even social. No, come on.
I'm assuming. I
At the
mean,
club?
I'm assuming they really are like the worst. I think it is Florida and Arizona,
In Arizona and Texas. Well, see, I was just talking
which
to
are the two oldest states, probably.
yeah, I guess. I was just I think I was talking to Rachel Feinstein, and she was debating whether to go to Texas for a gig. She has the antibodies now. She's full of antibodies. So I guess those are exactly the people that could perform inside. I mean, Greg, do you are at risk to catch it, right?
Yeah, I have no antibodies, and my wife works in a doctor's office, and my daughter works in a daycare. So when I come home, I'm going to be in the back house, completely quarantined for like 10 days.
10 days. That's the thing. Yeah. My
Yeah.
sister works in a
I
doctor's
feel like
office.
that's kind of a gift, though. Am I wrong?
Yeah.
Am I wrong where you're just like, oh, I can't get out of this and I got to quarantine. Please leave my meals at the door.
Yeah. I mean, I think I've already got a list of things I want to watch, including all of Juskow's 1 hour specials on True TV.
Well, I was saying at the beginning, I'm like, how can we possibly complain about quarantining? Do you imagine if this happened in the 80s? First of all, it never would have happened in the 80s because there would have been nobody would have been able to work from home. So we just would have gone on and all gotten it, but what a great time in the world to quarantine. You can watch any movie ever made, listen to any song ever recorded, and play
The food
video
delivery
games.
services that come 10 minutes later.
I've bought stuff on Amazon and it's come the next day in a way that like is a little creepy. You're like, it's something obscure and you're like, I'm pretty sure I ordered this at 2 a.m. and now it's here. And I was like, I don't want to leave the house. This is awesome.
There's an old Bob Newhart episode on Saturday Night Live that I remember as a kid, and they aired it recently, where he works at a store where they sell everything. I think Tom Davis comes in and asks for a white chocolate bow and arrow set, and they're like, well, we only have 2 left. So, like that's the way Amazon has actually become. It's not even a joke. It started out as a joke.
And it is like, you want to get angry that robots are taking over jobs, but when you can order a white chocolate bow and arrow and it shows up the next morning, how do you fight that?
It's amazing, right? Greg, there's one thing I wanted to ask you. I was listening to your podcast. You won your Survivor football pool.
Yes.
That's like, Liz, I don't know, or Colin, I don't know if you guys know about this. This is like the hardest thing to win ever with, the National Football League. They have a Survivor pool. You have to pick a different team every week. You can never use the same team, and you have to go 17 weeks. And Greg won the whole thing. It's almost, I know it sounds easy, but it's really hard, right?
As a girl that doesn't understand sports, what do you mean survive? Like they don't
It
lose?
means if everybody picks the I was going to say the Redskins, and that's the worst team to use as an example, right? Because the football team. If everybody picks the New York Giants the first week and they lose, all those people are out of the pool for the whole rest of the year.
Yeah, they call it a suicide pool because if you get one wrong, you're out. There's no point spread. You pick one game a week, but then if you pick the Seahawks to win, you can't pick them for the rest of the season.
Right.
So there was over 200 people in the pool, and then and then I won it.
I can't believe it. That I think I've known one guy that split once with somebody, because when it comes down to week 17, you can make a deal. I think, is that the thing, right?
You're not allowed to make a deal in this.
Oh, I like that better. I don't like making the deals. I say you go for it all. Which team did you pick in week 17? And then I'll get off if it's not a football show anymore. I'm just curious as hell.
Actually, you had to pick 2 teams in week 17 because there was 4 people left and they wanted to make sure people got knocked out.
Oh.
So I took, who did the Eagles play?
Oh my God, they picked the Washington Football Club.
Yeah, I picked the Washington football team last week.
That was a smart. What was the other one? You had to pick 2.
Tennessee.
Oh, that was close.
Yeah, they were both close. Yeah.
Wow. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to stir off the past. I just, that is like a really hard thing to do. And it's,
the key to the pool is never bet for or against any New York teams because they are fickle. They'll break your heart or they'll beat a team that they had no right beating.
like the Jets did to the Rams, or that week. Right. I'm sure a lot of people got kicked out from that game alone.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
But not to bore anybody that doesn't know anything about football. But
Wait, did you like when you were doing week 1? Did you like have a plan for the 17 weeks and then improvise?
You got to save up teams.
Yeah. My secret is I figure out who the worst 3 teams in the league are, or who are going to be, because it's easier to predict a bad team than a good team. So I knew out of the gate the Jets were going to suck. I knew Jacksonville was going to suck. And so I looked down the whole season and I bet against any of those teams, especially if they were on the road. If they were traveling and they were a bad team, then so that way I wasn't burning any of the good teams until the end. By the end, I still had like a lot of the top 10 teams that I hadn't picked yet.
Liz is actually falling asleep. I mean,
I legit learned a lot from this though, because that's the thing that sucks about being a female comic is you get asked to do all these fucking sports things, and I just go like, I don't know, and they're like, oh, I'll play, and so then I pick a team, and then everybody makes fun of me, and I'm just like, well, I don't know, like you just brought me in, and then you didn't teach me anything, but I learned more in like 5 minutes from Greg, and now I'm like, now I want to be fucking picked one of these.
Well, that's the thing too. All these people that are on these shows and get paid all this money. This is why I was doing the show, at the beginning of the year or in September, is that we can make picks better than they can. They don't know anything either. The only person that knows something is clearly Greg Fitzsimmons.
It is insane though, the way Vegas picks the point spreads, and they are right
so good,
consistently close.
It's just right out of that movie Casino with what's his name, Rothstein. I mean, Jesus Christ, it's every time because I get a gambling problem, so I'm betting all the time. I'm like, God, these guys are good. These guys are good. I don't know how they know. Even last night, even the national championship, Alabama against Ohio State, they had that over. I think it was like 74, and I think the over was 76.
Did you see the Alabama fans celebrating after the game?
No.
Yeah,
it was like 20,000.
Yeah.
It was like 20,000 people all jammed together. It was insane.
I think the last time you were on the show, I was showing you when the Tampa Bay Lightning won the Stanley Cup. All the people in Tampa Bay were all celebrating together while they were on the boats. Everybody was celebrating, no masks.
Right.
What's your cat's name?
Her name's Pasta.
And is Pasta an asshole?
Yes, very much so. And she's also like geriatric, like she's almost 16 years old. So like my podcast I do once a week, and she cries throughout the whole thing. I'm constantly being like, I'm doing a podcast.
You have to tell them, right?
But what's gotten worse is I'll be editing it and I'll hear the crying and I'll think it's her. So I'll take out my earphones and I'm looking for her and I can't find her, and she sleeps under my covers. And I'm like, am I losing my goddamn mind? And then I start editing it again and she's fucking crying in the podcast. Like, it's like when a rap song has like a police siren and you think you're being pulled over. Like that's what my life has become. She's either crying on my podcast or crying in my life.
Yeah, I get mad when commercials have alarm clocks.
There's this new fucking thing. Like every time I watch a YouTube video and it's the ping when you get a text message, and I fall for it every time. And I'm just like, and it doesn't even make sense, that ping, but every time, like they know that makes you focus, and then I get mad and it makes me not want to buy their shit.
I feel similar. All right. Going to start the multimedia presentation.
I think I should do music for this next time. I'll get you some music for this.
That's not a bad idea. Everybody can see my screen, right?
I want inappropriate music though. Like if it's going to be all this insurrection stuff, like I want it to be like really soft and romantic, like a love song. Then if it was all pictures of cats, I want it to be like grunge.
Well, we have them all today. So this, I guess everybody knows this picture. Everybody knows what happens. And
I thought he was eating a burrito. It's his phone.
It's his phone.
For a second, I was like, that's actually kind of badass to just sit at a desk and eat a burrito.
Well, that's the problem. And that's why I started with this picture. I'm like, and we all know these guys had no plan, which makes me pine for Hans Gruber, who, and this I just took from my I photoshopped, but Hans Gruber, how much?
You mean he wasn't actually there?
Well, he should have been, because at least here's a guy that's well dressed and has a plan when he's going to sit in the tape. He's got a plan. That's all I kept thinking about was Hans.
Oh my God. He could have been that guy, because that shot of the of the Secret Service people or whatever, like shooting through the windows.
Yeah.
Maybe he's the one. You know that moment in Die Hard where he's like, shoot the glass.
Shoot the glass. Right. I am an exceptional thief.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's
instead of Bruce Willis saving the day, it would be like Judd Apatow.
Also, isn't the problem that they are finding out that they did have a plan? Like,
that's what I've heard, but it certainly doesn't seem like that when you actually make it into the office. You just have the feet on your desk and you're taking selfies.
Yeah.
I mean, but that's kind of every girl, though. Like,
Absolutely.
you're always just like, oh my God, we're going to go to this party. It's going to be so awesome. And then the party sucks. And you're like, well, we might as well just get some Instagram pics out of it.
That works like a charm too. Everybody's fooled by Instagram pics, so everybody's doing it. Looks like they were all having the great time under quarantine and Instagram. Everybody's doing stuff except you, you know, like
I know. I love the fact that these are the people that are anti-maskers, but as soon as they're like illegally in the Capitol, they all slap a mask on.
Yeah, right. So, you know, they're planning to go to every capital in the states to protest. And here's a picture of let them go to Albany. Fine. Look at what a dump it is. Have a good time. I mean, why would you
what we
ever
were looking at?
Yeah, it's Albany. And this is what you get at Albany's. Apparently everybody is, that's why they have the Fitzsimmons Hotel there as well. Everybody's Irish in Albany.
That's where you pass out after you were drinking at McGarry's.
That's right.
That's
All
some
right, pop quiz, David Juskow. What is the capital of Washington State?
Wait, I do shit. I don't know.
So you could never protest. You'd be a shitty protester.
Does it start with an O?
It is. Starts with an O.
I can't think of what it is.
Olympia.
Oh, Olympia.
Olympia.
Yeah, no, I couldn't protest. I wouldn't bother because then you might have to go to here, Trenton, New Jersey.
Watch your mouth.
Sorry. Come on.
That's where I
Liz.
used to get drugs in high school. Come on,
Well,
man.
that pretty much makes sense when you see pictures like that. I mean, look, ABC bail bonds next to the
That's
courthouse.
also where I used to get drugs in high school.
But
Bail
Greg, look,
bonds is always like AAA or ABC because they want to be at the front of the yellow pages.
Oh, is that true?
In a bail bond, you're in a rush.
look what I changed it to. Greg, you understand, right?
Chicos? Is
You
that
don't
a
know?
Marx Brothers reference?
No. It's from the Bad News Bears.
Oh,
Bad News Bears.
I just assumed we were around the same age, so I.
right.
No. This is lovely Pierre, South Dakota.
Wow.
Why are they protesting in the capitals? Why not protest in like the greatest, you know, like in Honolulu? That's a good choice. That's the coveted where you want to, where I would be like, well, I'll take Honolulu if nobody wants it.
Have you been to Honolulu?
What?
Have you been to Honolulu?
No, I've never been. I've always wanted to go.
It's a fucking dump.
It's
No.
a
It
dump.
is?
No, I'm kidding.
Oh.
It's better than Pierre, South Dakota, for Jesus'
Right.
sake.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I just don't understand their reasoning for anything. I thought this might make people feel better. This is a picture of Andrew Johnson. He was our 17th president. He followed Lincoln, and he was pretty much just like Trump. He was actually considered the worst president until now. And he'd probably be even worse than Trump because he was trying to take back the slavery clause that Lincoln put in. But there's no video footage or social media. So we'll never know exactly how bad he was. But we'll know from Trump, and generations will know what follows.
Well, except now we can't go back and look at his Twitter feed.
No. Oh, right. That's a good point. Hey, yeah, they kind of they screwed history.
Yeah, and if he's
Thought
anything
about
like
it.
Trump, he doesn't know how to read and write. So there's fucking nothing there either.
I thought this might
You
make
know what?
people
Trump
feel
knows
better.
how to read and write. He just doesn't care to.
No, he doesn't care.
Hmm.
Pizza Hut is now doing they're not doing the pizza, they're just doing the stuffed crust instead of the pizza. It's fucking brilliant. You know, this is the kind of stuff that makes me love this country.
Yeah.
Wait, I can't tell if you photoshopped this or if this is real.
No, it's real. I didn't Photoshop it.
Really?
Yeah, I swear to God.
Isn't that just a breadstick?
Yep.
And they just didn't give you all the breadsticks with all the empty space.
You know, I would never eat this. I don't care for the crust. I usually leave it over, but my nephew thinks this is the greatest thing ever. And quite frankly, the sauce you dip it in is actually amazing. We go to Pizza Hut
I'm
every
sure
year
there's
for
so
his
much
birthday.
sugar in it. I used to
Yes.
like when we were kids, like we would get Pizza Hut, you know, I was saying beforehand, I'm Jersey trash. So, I love marketing. But
This
no,
is
we would get
Liz's.
Pizza Hut every Friday. So like, cause there was 5 of us and my mom, any excuse not to cook. And like, I remember my mom would make us go to the salad bar and get a salad. And I was like, but it's Pizza Hut. And she's like, you need to eat something green. So we would just get all the croutons and all the ranch dressing and like one thing of lettuce. And she was like, fine. But those are my memories of Pizza Hut. Is she made us eat a salad and we made the most unhealthy salad.
Was this because did you grow up Catholic and so Friday night was no meat?
I mean, maybe my dad went to Catholic school. Clearly 5 kids makes it Catholic, but I don't think that was the reason. I think just in general, maybe that's why all Italians do that in general, but it was just always Friday's pizza night. And,
That sounds awesome.
you know, and we would get, you know, it's Jersey. So we just get Pizza Hut.
For us, we were Jewish. So every Friday night was fish night. My mother was the worst cook. And she used to make filet of sole, but it was awful. And then the other nights were liver night. We had to have liver.
Woo!
They said it was good for your blood.
Yeah.
But, you know, if you want to have a heart attack at 50.
I love liver.
Do you? I met some people that like it, but
Oh my
What
God.
does it taste
great.
like?
Little bit of
Awful.
onion in there and some
like
crumbled
Is it
egg.
chewy?
yeah, it's chewy. It's gross.
I think I've had it. And I think I was like, it's just like a gross tasting gummy bear.
So gross.
It's really awful.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's
Yeah.
something
I
wrong with
heard they
Greg.
just closed down. What's the Jewish place that was on the Lower East Side?
Sammy's Romanian.
Yeah, they closed down.
We used to
Sammy's
make the chopped
Romanian.
liver in front of you. Yeah, we just talked
Yep.
about it last week.
Yeah.
After all these years, that was a great place. The food wasn't great. It was just the atmosphere that was amazing.
No. Food was terrible, but they
Yeah.
but they had a block of ice with the vodka bottle on it,
That's
and then
right.
they had a bottle full
Schmaltz.
of grease.
Schmaltz.
Schmaltz, just grease. Yeah.
Yeah. And then they'd make the chopped liver in front of you. The handsome fellas in the big muscle t-shirts would
Yeah.
chop the chopped liver in front of you. Anyway, this is Liz's book that's coming out in March. Why Cats Are Assholes. Brilliant title because we do love them, but they are assholes. I used to
They're
have
the
one
worst.
myself.
So, I was going to say without spoiling, but I actually just straight up want you to spoil. Why are they assholes?
So I think we all know the redeeming qualities of dogs. Like they listen, you know, they're your best friend. They follow you wherever you go. They protect you. But cats, you know, this was my idea for the cover. Like, it's so funny. Like we have a barbell in our living room, and me and my roommates have been like working out. And by that, I mean, we lift it and we're like, we did it. But, you know, we'll have water on the table and literally the other person we don't spot each other. Someone has to watch the water cups before my cat puts her face in them. Like it's just us, like water gets ruined because she puts her whole face in it and then she just licks it and hair. And it's just like their behavior is just like think of like every rich kid you've ever met. That's a cat. They do whatever the fuck they want.
Right.
You
They're
know,
always knocking stuff over.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah, and both my
really
parents
annoying.
are veterinarians, and my mom, I went home for Christmas. My parents have 3 cats, and then my cat's old, so she can't be alone anymore. So I brought my cat, and they have a house, so they have like cats in different areas, and they have their own territory. But my cat was just going wherever she wanted, and she was walking on the counter. My dad's like, "No cats on the counter." I was like, "How does that rule work?" And he goes, "Oh, I just keep them in the basement." I was like, "So you just literally have like little minion cats in the basement and you feed them once in a while?" He goes, "That's how I like my cats." And I was like, "I don't think you like cats. Like you just
Really?
accept that they do whatever you want. Like they do whatever they want." But yeah,
So
it's
one of
just,
them's going to escape and he's going to do an interview with People Magazine about being abducted.
and being like, these veterinarians, they don't care. But yeah, it's just like you love like I say in the book, like really what you're learning is about accepting people. Like you learn to accept people if you learn to accept cats. You know what I mean? Because you can't change people, but you know, especially as a woman, you're always trying to change men. But as someone that's been a cat owner, she's learned nothing in almost 16 years. She does nothing I say, but I love her with my whole heart. So it's about accepting. And I think a lot of dog people need, it's about control. and it's abusive.
I was at my sister's yesterday, and she has a cat, and as you can see, they love to just crawl into spots where you would never even think there was a spot to crawl into.
I love that so much.
Is there a correlation between women, though? I mean, the cliche that women that live alone always have a cat, and they're less dateable.
I actually don't like, I think, so you have to understand that like cats, while cats have breeds, they're not bred and they're not expensive. Like most people that have a cat have a rescue cat. Nobody goes around and goes, I rescued a cat, because nobody gets any, like they're all just mutts. Like she's a domestic short hair, which is like saying a mutt. So very few people pay money for a cat, as opposed to dogs. It's a breed. Somebody probably paid for it. They get to kind of be like, I rescued a dog. So cats are free. And I think in general, there's something about just like how easy cats are. You can go about your life. They're free. And I think guys are starting to kind of get on that trend, which is you can leave them alone for days. You can just put out dry food. There's no kind of neglect. They're not going to pee on your stuff. So I think in general, I think women always had more, there's more like emotional labor. There's also like physical labor of like cleaning or whatever. So it's just an easier animal if you do more in general.
I never felt that way, that I could leave them for days. I missed my cat very much. I used to have to come home. I was rather obsessed. But I mean, people were like, you should get another cat as a friend, which would have been fine. But then, like you said, for a boy, it's very undateable for a man to have two cats, a single man to have two cats.
Yeah, but I also think things are changing. I think in general, like I have a whole
not if you're in the men's world, will always be considered just gay.
I actually don't think that's true.
Not
think
just gay.
You're being polite.
Fucking
you don't
weird.
Understand. Greg, will you explain to her, please?
I'll explain to her that it's not the cat. I think it's the musicals.
How dare you? Liz, now this is so weird because I picked my sister up at the doctor's in Princeton yesterday.
Oh, that is
said
weird.
You're from Princeton. Is this your family store?
So no, this is a vacuum cleaner store. And it's so funny because people will send me advertisements for Miele, or they'll see stuff and they'll be like, oh, are you guys related? And I was like, if I had like high-end vacuum cleaner money, I wouldn't have fucking become a comic.
Well, it was just weird. I took this picture yesterday, knowing I was having you on the show, and then you just told me you were from Princeton, and I thought for sure this wasn't the store. But then you told me you were from the area. I took this store is in Princeton.
It is, and so what's funny about this is my parents, they just retired, but my parents are veterinarians, and they had a tiny little cat clinic when I was younger, and then they tore down this like kind of ranch house that was a cat clinic, and they built a bigger practice called Princeton Animal Hospital, and it was about maybe like 2 miles from where this is, and it was the same year that this big ugly, like this thing is like bright colors, it's not doing justice to how ugly this building is, but the same year
the floors are immaculate though.
Yeah, right. They kind of have to be. Well played, Greg. But actually, when you go in, they vacuum clean you, and you get like kind of like a blow dry. But they were building this ugly building when my parents were rebuilding their building, and they got so many people that were like, "Wow, is that the new build?" Like, could you imagine going from Princeton Animal Hospital to just Miele, like we're like a Trump Tower? It was just so ridiculous. But yeah, this isn't too far from where I grew up.
That's so weird. This is Liz's podcast.
I feel like so taken care of right now. We're talking about I'm like I feel bad about shitting on your football. I didn't know we were going to talk about me the whole time.
Quite all right.
I'm learning a lot more about cats than I ever knew.
Does anybody know?
Or anybody wanted?
That's the Gridiron building.
That's Madrid, Spain.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's Madrid, Spain. I thought it was the Flatiron building as well. And no, it's Madrid, Spain last week. I didn't even know.
They got so much snow.
Yeah. I thought I really thought it was New York City. I didn't know it snowed in Spain. I thought it was always.
It doesn't. It really
that's when
fucked
the world
over.
is falling apart. Yeah.
Fucking A. How many more hints do we need?
Yeah, exactly. This is for some reason, everybody is up in arms over this photo. I don't know why.
Because they were Chuck Taylors?
She looks amazing. They're mad. She's wearing sneakers.
It's fucking cool as shit.
Yeah, I know.
It's great.
It's great, but people are complaining, and I don't know why. They're just because there's no way to win.
Because they're not allowed to come out and say she's black and I'm upset, so they go after her sneakers.
Soft.
There
Well,
it
it's
is.
like what they did with Obama, where he wore a tan suit, and that
Right.
was like the biggest scandal of the Obama administration. Like,
Well,
they're
here
just,
she is looking perfect, and they complain about this as well.
What do you
Yeah.
mean they complain about
They
who?
say she looks too white.
Who's a they say? Oh, she looks
People
right.
who are complaining, they say, who's it, Anna Wintour, that she's out of, out of style. But this is the same photographer. I think he's a black photographer who did Beyonce about 2 years ago. So people just love to complain. This is what you get if you're Melania Trump in her hometown of Slovenia.
Slovenia, for fuck's sake.
This is what they made. It's a tree statue.
No, they didn't.
is that real?
Yes, it's real. No,
Really?
That's
I
amazing.
I swear to God, it's
Oh my
real.
God, I love that so much.
And she's really, and that's why they're really
Well, now
really
I understand why
upset
she
about
hates Christmas. Look what trees have done to her.
it's an actual. It's
Wow,
supposed to
no,
be.
wow.
Oh, wow.
So good.
Awesome.
It's supposed to be an honor, but I think they're really pissed about it.
Oh my
not,
God, that's
It's
amazing.
not done in a mean-spirited way.
And her
It wasn't
family
done?
lives in it.
Wait, are you being serious? It
I am
wasn't done
absolutely
mean-spiritedly?
serious. No, I swear to God, it's supposed to be a tribute. Yeah, I guess in Slovenia, a tree statue is a big deal. I don't
I
know.
mean,
Did you
not an
guys see
artist.
this?
Yes.
This is Arnold Schwarzenegger's message. This, I don't know whether you saw it, was the director's cut. That was the
God
last.
bless all of you, and may God bless America.
I don't know whether you guys saw that one. I thought that was unnecessary to make a separate cut, but that's the way it was. This is Greg's podcast, Sunday Papers. And this is why I was excited to have you on, because we love talking about, I love that you love talking about the comics. We're the last two people that even read the comics. You were talking about this one on your podcast this week, Hagar the Horrible, who says work can't be fun and they're all going to rape this girl. This is what you said, right? Yeah.
No, that's sort of like, we do this. And first of all, that logo, we've been doing the podcast for a year, and we have user submitted logo and song, and it changes every week.
Yeah,
Oh,
I saw
that's
that.
cool.
I liked this one though. But yeah, so
no, the running joke is that, like, you go, when I was a kid, I don't know, Liz, you're probably too young to read the Sunday paper.
Yeah,
Colin,
she's
I
way
can't
too
tell
young.
how old
No,
you
but
are.
I used to do this every day after school. I'd go for the like the funnies or the comics
you
or
would.
whatever. And that's how I got into, like, I mean, my generation was like Boondocks, like, you know what I mean? Like,
oh,
there
that's
was
true,
like,
right.
or like my dad got me into Far Side. So I have like
Oh,
all the
yeah.
Far,
those
like
were
half my
great.
room has like Far Side stuff, but I love this kind of
These
stuff.
are ones that need to be retired, right, Greg?
Well, that's the thing. That's what we point out is, like, some of these older ones, they were so misogynistic. Like, Hagar is almost always about raping somebody. And, like, Blondie is like this piece of shit Dagwood, this useless fucking zero, lays on the couch while
Yeah.
Blondie is always like dolled up and waiting on him. And she's gorgeous. She's like dressed in these sexy outfits.
All he does is eat those. So I have some questions. This one's from Thanksgiving, and I've been trying to figure out where the punchline is. If there's Hillbilly Zero, who's been in the comic for 70 years, his family sent him a Thanksgiving dinner from the farm. What's the gag, Greg?
Beetle Bailey always feels like it's missing one more frame. To have the punchline in. And the joke is, this guy is mentally retarded. I shouldn't say the word. He's intellectually disabled. That's literally the joke. And he's in the army.
But what's the gag that his family sent him a Thanksgiving dinner from the? That's the gag. Isn't that nice?
Yeah.
I don't get it.
I don't
This
get-
one was on Christmas Eve. It has nothing to do with Christmas because the dad's like, oh no, a blizzard. And the son's like, oh boy, a blizzard. Now we get that part, but that was the father. He's just opening the door, all dressed, ready for work. And he had no idea it was a blizzard outside. This is in 2020. They didn't look, his wife is shocked. There was no information previous to him opening the door, getting ready for work.
And why are they dressing their child in a short sleeve shirt in January?
And overalls, right?
Yeah.
And what about these black and white shoes from the 30s? What the fuck? I mean, update your comic. What the hell? This was this past Sunday, and this is a brand new comic, but this is awful. less remembered animated shows: King of the Hell, Speed Eraser, Mighty Louse, Shakespeare in the South Park. I mean, you know, you guys are much better comics than I am, but I'm funnier than this, right? I mean,
but that's the other running thing that we do with the Sunday Funnies is that these guys, like you look at the Jeff Keane who does the Family Circus.
oh my God, right.
That comic strip is so bad you literally get angry because this guy's syndicated in hundreds of papers. He's making millions of dollars a year, and he just basically is like he just goes like, I'm late for the golf course. I got 15 minutes. Let me bang this thing out.
Right. I know.
But I've kind of noticed in general, because I do, not only do I love them in the paper, but now I follow so many comic strips and like New York Times, comic strip people on Instagram and stuff. What I've noticed is like there's people that are amazing and it's really smart and they're able to do it in like one frame, almost like great one-liners. And then there's people where like I follow every single frame, and these people have like 500,000 followers. I follow every single frame, and I'm like, that's just a setup. Like I almost like you can get away more. Like they're clearly great artists, but like you're like, how do I have 7 followers? Right. And I know there's a beginning, middle, and end and everything. Like that's the thing that kind of pisses me off.
Well, we have to try so hard.
Yeah.
And these guys, like this one, Rex Morgan, MD. I mean, this is the best. The guy gets a phone call from Rex. He goes, "This is the comic strip and the Sunday Funnies. The lab just called with your blood glucose count. It's very high." And he's like, "Can I finish my dinner?" I wouldn't. That's the gag.
Yeah. Well, you want to see that? No, the New Yorker ones really are like brilliant. Like I've got the calendar and I look forward to tearing back the page every day and reading one. And this is one I'm friends with one of the New Yorker cartoonists. And he sent me this one, which I framed to put on my wall.
Can you read it? I can't see it.
Can you read it to us?
You see it?
Yeah.
Jake, opinions are like podcasts. Everyone.
Here, I'll give you.
Well, the New Yorker, though, that's a more intellectual cartoon.
That's Bob Eckstein.
And he probably doesn't even make as much as those guys are making.
Well, the New Yorker, 60 Minutes did a piece on the New Yorker cartoonists, and they submit like 5, 6, 10 a week, and then if you score 1 or 2, you can make a living out of it.
Really?
Can I show this one to Greg?
Yeah.
Well, you'd have to show it to all of us, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh, that's The Far Side. I recognize.
Yeah.
That's a classic one. Oh my God. We're just not reaching that guy. Oh my God, I love it.
One of my favorite. I don't know when it was.
I think is it captioned "Nerds in Hell" or is it? No, that's a different one, right?
But it's like, first of all, like I was a kid and I wonder, like we always talk about, we always get asked what comics influenced you, but I really think like between reading David Sedaris when I was a teenager and like comic strips and Far Side when I was like really young. I mean, this dark sense of humor.
Yeah, that guy, Bill Watterson from Calvin and Hobbes. Those were all great. But then here's
another great New Yorker one.
Sorry, I can barely hear you with this goddamn ocean behind me. That's great. Yes, yeah. I mean, well, we know that there's ones that are really good, but we like pointing out the ones that are bad and tacky and old and should be retired.
Yeah.
But I think about like for some, like I framed that, and nobody gave it to me, by the way, Greg. Like it wasn't like a gift. I was just like, that speaks to me in my essence.
Yeah, I definitely cut out a bunch of Far Sides that I had for years that I had at work on a blackboard or whatever it was, a cork board or something for years. I never thought of framing it. That's really smart.
Well, for years there was a comic strip in the New York Times on Sunday made by Brian McFadden, and I was always like, good for Brian. I mean, who knew he'd turn into a New York Times cartoonist? And so I would read it every week, happy for him. And then after a couple of years, I see him at the Stand Up New York, and I was like, hey, man, that's so great. He goes, different Brian McFadden.
Yeah, we had him on the show a couple of weeks ago. He said his dad is in Annie Hall of a cutout scene.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah, which I've seen. I would love to see. Anyway, Colin, are you ready? Let's I know you just sat down. That's why I said.
Fuck.
Colin's going to play us a little song to finish our show this evening.
All right. Yeah. So So I wrote something today because the fucking morning was just a piece of shit. 2021 is worse than 2020 morning.
So far.
I was like, well, fuck it. And thanks, comics. All right. Tell me a joke, I haven't laughed in a while. You funny old goat, come on, give me a smile. Today's been crazy, and it just might save me. Or sing me a song you like, yeah, anything goes. I do it myself, but man, it's been one of those. And the music relieves me, yeah, it makes it go easy. You'd have to believe the times are hard as they can get. Well, in any other year, I would have taken that bed and have one. Who knows when it'll be done? How many more trips round the sun will it take? So come on, wait. So come on and talk to me, just answer the phone. What the hell are you screening calls for? I know you're in front of the TV. I'm not just being needy. If screens could make things better by now, they surely would. But the comfort of each other is the only thing that's good. And we've always had it. We just took it for granted. You'd have to believe that times are hard as they can get. Well, in any other year, I would have taken that bed and have one. Who knows when it'll be done? How many more trips round the sun will it take till it's over? I want it to be over. I want some of your chili. I want to feel dumb while I think I'm cool. I want to splash you while you tan at Astoria pool. I know you'd want to slap me. It'd just make me happy. You'd have to believe that times are hard as they can get. Well, in any other year, I would have taken that bed and had one. Who knows when it'll be done? How many more trips round the sun will it take till it's over?
Yeah.
It sounded like you were making it up as you were going along.
Well, because I'm reading it, because I just wrote it today, so I was reading it, and I kind of forgot the vibe.
I couldn't believe last week when you had just written the song and you memorized all the words, or it seemed like that for sure last week when you did that song. I mean, that was always the problem I had. I can't memorize my act. I don't know how you can memorize songs so easily.
I like it. It started out as like a Piano Man for comedians, and it ended up as like a U2 song about the apocalypse.
Yeah, well, Dublin.
Yeah. Thank you, Colin. That's so nice. Hey, guys, thank you so much. Liz, so you are not performing anywhere, or are you performing in Minneapolis in February?
I canceled Acme. Everything's pretty much canceled until April. So, but
your book is coming out.
My book is coming out, and I do a weekly new material night, like a new material workshop night with different comics, a monthly. And so Carmen Lynch and Maria Shahada are doing the next one, February 7th. It's Pay What You Can, and info and tickets are on my website, which is myname.com.
And Greg will actually be at the Tempe Improv this weekend, everybody. There's, I assume, 4 shows, Friday and Saturday, or Thursday, Friday, Saturday?
Thursday, Friday, Saturday, 5 shows. Again, if you have a home, I would just stay there.
You funny, man.
You're going to pull the Sammy Davis Jr. and be like, listen, I know there's only 5 of you, but I'm going to do the greatest show anyone's ever seen for you.
I know you always have people going like, I know we're half full, but I'm giving 110%. I will give 50%.
Now I want to go to that show. I think I have a friend in Arizona. I'm going to send her there. She doesn't seem to care about anything anyway. So,
Well, you know who's opening for me is Jimmy Kimmel's sister Jill.
oh yes, of course. I know all the comics that go there. She opens for them. Yeah, I know. She's nice. I like her.
Yeah, she's very sweet.
Yeah. Oh, well done. Good. That's excellent, Colin. Your album is coming out January 28th.
No. So I'm not doing. I thought I was going to do an album, but I'm not. I'm just going to put out a series of singles.
Oh.
And the first one comes out on January 29th. Yeah.
29th. Okay, I was pretty close. Well, thank you all for joining us this evening. It's been a lovely afternoon, evening, wherever you're located. Hopefully someday we'll all be able to be together live at the Comedy Cellar, or
Oh my God.
anywhere for that matter. And again, please press the donate button if you've enjoyed this evening's show. Next week, our guests will be Bonnie McFarlane and Lenny Marcus. So join us again at 7 o'clock on Tuesdays here at the Comedy Cellar Nightly Channel. Thank you so much, everybody, for joining us. And thank you, Greg, Liz, and Colin, for being so nice and being on my show this evening. Good night, everybody.